you have discovered through the expansion of the internet world. I am Johnny Allen, and this is the Johnny Allen 30-Minute Podcast. We're going to be talking about your life, my life, and the world today. So sit back, relax, grab something if you need it, and let's do this. All right, podcast does start now. I'm Johnny Allen of this Johnny Allen 30-Minute Podcast. Hey, welcome aboard. It's only 30 minutes of me just talking about this everyday life situations that go on. I'm basically just sharing what I observe and, just sharing my life thoughts, what's going on in the political world, what's going on in my local community, what's going on with me personally, what's just going on, what is going on, guys? Let me know below. Just comment below on really anything I got to talk about. I'm just if you haven't been here before on my show, thanks for stopping by. Hit the subscribe and the like and all that good stuff, everything that everybody else says. It does help the channel grow, not that I'm really worried about it, but it does kind of just broadens the community a little bit, just kind of maybe people like myself, we can just have a conversation. That's all I do. I'm just an average guy, guys, really, and gals out there that are watching. I'm just an average American guy. That's it. I'm a musician as well. I'll talk a little bit about my music stuff briefly, but basically what I do here is, like I said, just talk about everyday life situations. So it is May the 3rd of 2024. I do live close to Indianapolis, Indiana. We have a big race right here. It's the Indianapolis 500. It's hard to believe it's coming around again. It just seemed like I just watched the race and bam, here it is again. And it's, I always talk about how fast time goes. It's true. I just did the last podcast. I talked about time and how they've proven that time is actually physically speeding up. If you want to go back and look at the playlist, I have a podcast about that where I talk about that. But anyway, it does seem like the podcast is going fast too. Life's going fast in general, right? And it's hard to believe it's May and we got Memorial Day weekend coming up and all that. And Memorial Day weekend is special because obviously we celebrate. And we and we keep in mind and we keep the memories rather of all the veterans that have passed. Really, what I'm getting at is we Memorial Day is about the veterans, and if we didn't have these special people, we wouldn't have the freedoms we have today. We wouldn't have the freedoms to go out there and do what they're doing today, whether it be right or wrong. I'll talk a little bit about that. Being able to go out and protest, and if that's what you want to call it, and cause a lot of problems because you're pissed off about a certain agenda. I'll talk a little bit about that. But anyway, we wouldn't be able to do all these things if it wasn't for the veterans. We're probably one of the last in the world of a free country. I worry about the freedoms that we have working against us sometimes and actually disappearing. Because of a few people that want to destroy it. But I'll talk a little bit about that later as we come into the podcast. Anyway, I drink coffee on the podcast, guys, like so many other people. I've been drinking it, the coffee on the podcast. I've been doing the podcast for like 6 or 7 years, and I started drinking the coffee on the podcast back then. I'm still drinking it now. So we're just going to drink to having a halfway healthy life, right? And just being able to do what we like to do without being too scrutinized, without losing all of our freedoms, and just wake up another day. At my age, it's just, you're blessed to wake up another day. So let's have a drink to that. I'm drinking Maxwell House today. I kind of share what I drink. And the mug, actually, this is a custom-made mug from a guy up in Michigan, a very well-known artist. If I think about it, I'll put a link below to his stuff. But, I bought this in Petoskey, Michigan last year, actually. All right, without further ado, let's grab a hold of these podcast notes. Anyway, so yeah, I'm back from a busy month. I've been really busy. It's weird because I'm retired from the 40-hour plus day job I had for 40 some years. Been gone from that for like a year and a half almost now. I pick up little odd jobs here and there just to kind of help with the bills because the economy today is just so great. I say that sarcastically. It's terrible. Everything is expensive. I'm with the grocery yesterday, guys. Share this real quick. I bought 4 bags of groceries. Your groceries are averaging $10 to $15 a bag. I got 4 bags of groceries. I didn't even really get any meats. I got 1 thing of ribs, baby back ribs, small package, very small. And it was on sale. And it was still like over $5 some. Anyway, 4 bags of groceries and it was like $45. 4 little bitty bags too, not big bags, small bags. So the economy's pretty bad. Things are expensive. So I'm going out trying to grab money from, as much as I can from different places. So I just got a little part-time job coming up, working for a security firm, which was kind of cool, and just doing, little things here and there to kind of make ends meet, right? Without me having to work 40 hours a week. I don't want to do that anymore. I've just got too many other things going on. Did that for 40 years. It's time to take a break. At my age, I'm 60, folks, so it's time to take a break. But anyway, I'm going to do this little thing that I call real quick to open it up. It's called Johnny Allen's State of the Union Address. Okay. If you guys don't know, I live in the United States of America. Okay. I live in the Midwest. I live close to Indianapolis. Without getting too detailed, I follow the race and all that stuff. Like I said at the beginning, I'm just an average guy. So I'm going to do my little, what I call the State of the Union Address. Okay, the State of the Union. Unless you've been living under a rock, like I said, we got a lot of stuff going on in this country. A lot of stuff going on in the world, but a lot of stuff going on in this country. Okay, we got an election coming up in November. Everybody knows that pretty much. We know who the contestants are going to be, so to speak. It's going to be Joe Biden, Robert Kennedy, and of course Donald Trump. Okay, so they don't want Donald Trump in there. They're doing everything they can to get him out. I'm not going to get into that. You already know. Even if you're not a Donald Trump fan, you know what's going on with him. I don't think they're going to, I don't know yet. I really don't know. I would say that he's still going to be the guy, but who knows? Running for Republicans? I have no idea. We'll find out, right? But anyway, we got a next election coming up, and it's funny that every time there's an election, do you guys remember what happened back in 2020 when we had the last election? We had these riots, and it was all caused by the George Floyd murder, I guess you would want to call it, if you want to call it that. His tragic death. Because I'm not going to get into the details because there's too much out there that's unexplained. But the tragic death and the abuse of the police officers, we know all about that. But anyway, there was riots and there was lots of chaos all over the world, actually, which is, think about this one. This is leading up to what I'm getting ready to go here, guys. So hang tight with me. I'm going to explain this. So back in 2020, election year in the United States of America, the George Floyd unfortunate thing happened, right? And then all of a sudden it sparked a flame around the world. Now, that's weird, around the world. That happened in the United States, happened in Minnesota, and it expanded all over the world. You had this chaos, and it wasn't like protest, like, we're just protesting, peacefully and stuff. It was chaotic rioting, okay? It was. We don't believe me, just look back at the film, okay? Okay, we got election year now, 2024. You go 4 years ahead, all of a sudden, there's the Palestinian, Hamas, you guys know this, or Hezbollah, it was Hamas, right? Hamas attacked Israelis at a concert, October 7th. You know all that. I'm just saying this because I'm leading up to what I'm thinking, what's going on in this. I'm trying to make a point here with all this. So the innocent Israeli people at a party got a big music festival, got attacked. You guys know all about that on October 7th, right? Okay, that was really a tragedy thing. Anytime there's violence and stuff like that, to me, it's just tragic. Because we're supposed to be human beings with a we're supposed to be, sophisticated and intelligent these days, and we're not. We're dumber than, and we're worse than we were when we were cavemen, or just as bad, right? Back in the primitive days. Still being bombarded. I mean, we're barbaric, and we do really evil stuff. It still happens. To me, that is astonishing in itself. We should be beyond that, but we're not. So that attack happens on October 7th. There's been disruption and wars in the Middle East for thousands of years. I won't get into that. You guys can research that. But anyway, this happened, and it's kind of funny. It's like coincidental, all right? Coincidence. And I don't believe in coincidence. But it happens on an election year, okay? Or right before an election year. So it's kind of setting up to what's going on. So all of a sudden now it's an election year. It's getting closer to the election day. And guess what? We got all these quote-unquote peaceful protests going all over the colleges, pro-Palestine, anti-Israel, anti-Zionism, blah, blah, blah. Whatever view you got, that's your business. I got my business. You got your business. I really don't care. But what I do care about is it's supposed to be peaceful. It's okay to have peaceful demonstrations, but we never have peaceful demonstrations, do we? It all becomes kind of violent. And I'm not a big Joe Biden fan. I've made that clear. I liked him years ago when he was a senator. I thought he was okay. I wasn't like, it's a big Joe Biden fan, but I thought he made sense on a lot of things back then. Since he's been the president, I don't know what's wrong. I'm not going to get into that. But anyway, for the record, I'm not a big Joe Biden fan. But I will give him kudos, and I will agree with what he said the other day. And it took him a little while to get there, but he was right. He says, in America, we all can voice our opinions. We have the freedom to voice our opinions, which is great. We're the only one in few countries around the world that can do that, right? In some countries, if you do what these demonstrators, quote-unquote demonstrators, are doing, if you try to do that in Russia or North Korea, you're going to jail or worse, period, for life, prison. If you don't believe me, look it up. In the United States of America, you get away with a lot of stuff. And you can really poke the bear, so to speak, before things start really happening. So anyway, getting back to it, we're having these protests, quote-unquote protests now, during the election year. Don't you think that's funny? And all this disruption. Now, here's the problem with it. Like I said, and I agree with Joe Biden when he said that peaceful protests are fine, but when you start interfering with the other college students or just simply wanting to get an education and they don't have anything to do with what's going on overseas, that war is not even here. It's over in Israel and Gaza, Palestine. It's over there, folks. It's not here. And we didn't do anything to any of them, okay? So we really don't have anything to do with it, technically, because that's over there. That's their thing going on. But the thing is, they bring it here to the colleges, and they're keeping innocent college kids from going and having an education. I agree with Joe Biden on that. You cross the line there. They don't have anything to do with what's going on. If they're born a Jew, that's what they're born. If you're born black, white, whatever, Indian, whatever, that's what God gave you. You can't help that. You can't discriminate against that. You should not discriminate or hate people for what they're born, how they're born, no matter who it is, okay? And I know there's innocent Palestinian people over there, and I feel sorry for them. I've made that quote many times. I think that anything that's violent is bad, period, no matter what it is. I don't care if it's street violence, somebody, robbing a bank. I don't care what it is. Any kind of violence against women, violence against men, violence against homosexuals. I don't care what it is. Violence in itself is wrong. Wrong, okay? So what I'm trying to say is, by these people denying innocent kids to go to college and go to do their classes and stuff is wrong. You're basically, what you're trying to get across is hypocritical. I mean, really think about it. You're being a hypocrite because you're saying, we're going to just do this and we're protesting and we're going to break into buildings and we're going to slam this shut and we're going to keep innocent kids from going to school and we're going to shun the Jews even though that are going to school over here. They didn't have anything to do with it. They actually got attacked first, but you want to get into it. And so you're denying innocent people going to school. So you're being a hypocrite because you're trying to stand up for a cause. You're trying to say, hey, the Palestinian people are getting treated wrongly, and that's fine. But by what you're doing, by not doing a peaceful demonstration, right, you're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. And if you don't believe me, it's true. Look at yourself in the mirror. You're a hypocrite. And so what makes me think about this further is, are these kids that are doing this absolutely that stupid or don't care or that violent or whatever it is? Could be. Are they being paid by somebody that has a bigger agenda? Could be. Are half of these kids not even going to that college and they're paid actors on the outside? Could be. Probably is. All those things could probably be correct. But getting back to this before I change to the next talking point is that I will agree with Joe Biden. Yeah, surprise, surprise. I will agree with Joe Biden. He says, you know what? Peaceful demonstrations are fine, but when you start denying innocent kids to go into class, that's wrong. To me, it's hypocritical. To me, you're not doing any good. To do a violent thing, to try to correct a violent thing, all you're doing is fueling the fire. You're not correcting the problem. So violence does not really correct violence, no matter where it is. And that's all I got to say about that. One last thing about that too. Folks, if you're one of those people out there that just can't stand America and hate America, then why are you here? That's just a question. If you hate America so much, then why are you here? You got the option to move. Move. If you don't like, I was born, raised here. I'm an American. Are we perfect? No. Is anybody in the world perfect? No. Okay? But I'm an American. I'm going to wave the American flag. I'm not going to kill the American flag in America, and fly some other flag like a Palestinian flag or whatever the flag may be. I'm not going to fly that flag. I live here in America. Now, if I was a Palestinian and I lived over in Palestine, of course I would fly a Palestinian flag. That's a no-brainer, right? I'm going to fly the flag where I live and where I feel comfortable living and where I feel is home, okay? I'm not going to bash my home flag. So these people that are born in America and love America, or they live in America and they think it's great, or maybe they don't think it's great, but they're Americans that don't. Okay, let's back this up a little bit. If you're an American that lives here in America and you don't like America and you don't think it's great, you got an option. That's all I got to say. You got an option. Move out. Leave. That's all I got to say about that. I'll drink some coffee to that. I'm basically talking about all the problems that we got going on and being hypocritical. That's where my podcast is today, folks. It's like there's so many people that are hypocrites. They oppose violence. They don't want violence, but they create it. That's hypocritical, people. If you don't like if you're standing up for a cause, put your signs up, stand out of the way so people can continue to do what they got to do. Like, don't block streets. People got to work. People got to make money. Those people have nothing to do with what's going on there, guys. So don't do that. You're just being a hypocrite. And you're killing your college education. Start speaking. I'm all about speaking peace and all that, but you can do it in a good way. I like I said, this whole thing is. I agree with Joe Biden on that. I'll give him 2 thumbs up on that. That was good. So now we're going to change the talking point, guys. We're going to flip the script completely. So if you have any comments on that below, like I said, basically what I'm saying in a nutshell on this part of the podcast, people, is that there is no room for violence. Talk things through. Don't interfere with someone trying to make a dime. These kids are just trying to get some college education so they can make, at the end of the day, you're just trying to make a little money so you can eat good food, have a roof over your head, and live in peace. That's what everybody wants. That's what everybody wants. If you don't want that, you're living in another planet. You need to maybe go to another planet, because that's not what we want, on planet Earth. That's not what humans want. Humans don't want that. We all want the same things. Are we all going to agree on the same things? No, it's okay to disagree. Like what Chuck Norris said. Speaking of Chuck Norris, here's our next part of the podcast, guys. I have revisited Chuck Norris. In case you don't know who Chuck Norris is, I'll put his picture up here. He's a famous martial artist, famous actor, great guy. Don't care if you don't agree with his political views. The more I get to know, I've always been a Chuck Norris fan, and the more I get to know Chuck Norris, he's 84 years old now. The more I learn more about Chuck Norris and the more I hear interviews with Chuck Norris, the more I just really care for this man. And he's just a good, honest human being. He's a good, honest human being. And we need more people like Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris. We need more people like Chuck Norris. He helps. He's had a lot of organizations. You can look it up. I mean, he's helped kids in gangs to get out of gangs, and with his Kickstart, kicking drugs. It's a drug program. I can't remember exactly the name of it now. But it's karate to help kids kick the drug habits. He's just a good person, and he's gone to. I'll point out here he's gone over to Afghanistan and Iraq rather a couple times back in 08 and 06 and 08 I think, or back in 2000 or early 2000s. But anyway, he's just a good guy. And in the wintertime, I kind of binge watch episodes, and the wife and I we picked up Texas Ranger again from the 90s, and people kind of joked about that. But there's a lot of good lessons with Walker Texas Ranger if you watch that series that he shot back in the 90s, in the early 2000s. Anyway, Chuck Norris. Kudos to Chuck Norris. I just wanted to call out Chuck Norris's name today because he's a phenomenal human being. And he's honest, and he's genuine. He's not one of these actors. And, I used to get into a lot of action guys, like Stallone and Steven Seagal and, guys of that nature, you know what I mean? The macho, I like those action films, they're just cool. But out of all of them, I mean, Chuck Norris, man, really, it's not discrediting the other actors. I love them, but Chuck Norris is definitely a genuine human being. He's had a lot of good causes. And I actually take his Morning Kick Roundhouse Morning Kick supplement. And in case you guys don't know, I got autoimmune disease called scleroderma. It actually is helping with that. I feel better now than I've felt since the pandemic. So 2021. So really, this is kudos to Chuck Norris. So I gotta say, if you're a Chuck Norris fan, hit the comment below. Loving Chuck Norris, right? So yeah, great guy, Chuck Norris. Okay, to the next point is, you guys know I'm a musician, and speaking of good causes, I put out an album. Here it is right here, called Pipe Dream. I'll put a link below where you can purchase this record. Now, if you purchase this record, you're going to help St. Jude's Children's Hospital cancer fighting hospital. They've been doing it for years, fighting children's cancer, and also suicide prevention, NAMI. So if you buy the record, 10% of the sales of the record go to these two organizations, St. Jude's and NAMI, and they help suicide, help people cope with mental illness, because mental illness is terrible right now, and it's on the increase because of all the stupid stuff that's going on, right? I mean, they're brainwashing our kids in college and everything. This stuff should never happen, right? People just need to calm down. I mean, really. But anyway, mental health is up. And I know, like I said, it's a lot of the brainwashing that's going on, and what kids are seeing today. It's unreal. I just get on YouTube and like, oh man, wow, what's going on here? And of course, children's cancer. Cancer is a big deal. I've lost several people to cancer. Kids with cancer is just terrible. Okay, I don't even have to go there. Two great organizations. Buy the Pipe Dream album. 10% of the sales go to that. It's not really about me. Like I said before in previous podcasts, I've never made a lot of money at music. I don't care to. I just want to give back, right? So please get the Pipe Dream album. You'll like it. It's a great, all originals except for one. If you like classic rock meets the blues, meets a little bit of it's all heartfelt. I mean, you can just hit the link and you guys can sample it and decide for yourself. But I do appreciate if you pick it up, and let's help some kids out there, some people that need some help. The Pipe Dream album, right? Okay. As we keep moving on, oh gosh, it's only 22 minutes already into this 30-minute podcast. Okay. Wow. I saw a little bit about the CIA. We kind of know about that. I don't know much about the CIA. I know they're supposed to help us and they keep us safe, and from bad actors and stuff like that. But there's been a lot coming out lately about the CIA. They got some bad actors in the organization, and that's all I got to say about it. And you guys can look that up and come to your own conclusions. But we need to, like with the CIA, when it comes down to the CIA, this protesting in colleges, to these world problems, to all this stuff that's happening in the world that's a problem, a real problem, right? And even with our own organizations, the CIA and the FBI and all that, supposed to be good organizations, I guess they are, but they got some bad actors in all this stuff, and who are we going to get, or who, how many people are we going to have What's it going to take to actually clean everything up? Get these organizations back to the way they're supposed to be. What's it going to take to get honesty back in the world? What's it going to take to get violence out of the world? I don't know if we'll ever have that. I don't know if we'll have that in my lifetime. I mean, I look at it as a Christian man, we'll look to God and Jesus, right, for that. But really, something needs to be done about it, because there's just so much stuff that's going on that should not go on. That's all I got to say about it. It should never happen in the United States of America. I listen to Joe Rogan and some of these podcasts. You guys probably have too. And he's got guests on there that really bring attention to a lot of weirdness and a lot of kind of scary stuff that's going on in the world. Like, who's really running the show? Comment below. Who's really running the show? Because I don't even think it has anything to do with presidents or anything. It goes way beyond that. That may be another podcast. That's kind of getting into the conspiracy kind of stuff. I don't even know if you can call it conspiracy anymore, because everything that's been called a conspiracy in the past has actually come to light. It's come to be fact. We'll drink again. All right, the coffee is pretty good, but I tell you what, I'm getting ready to just ordered some blackout coffee. Okay, and like I said, I was a big supporter of Black Rifle Coffee years ago. I haven't bought them for a while. I still think they're a great organization, but I've heard some things about them and done some research, and I'm not sure if it's factual or not, about they've kind of gone a little woke and they're kind of supporting things I don't really like. So I've kind of backed off them a little bit, and I've heard people talk about this blackout coffee. So I'm going to give them a try. I'm a fair opportunity, free thinking man, right? I'm going to give them a try and see if it's any better. I'm going to do my research, because if I'm going to buy coffee, everything's so expensive. I'm going to buy coffee, or I'm going to buy anything, I'm going to make sure that profit and money is going to good causes, not going to teaching kids weird stuff in school that doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to support brainwashing of bad things and bad thoughts. Just not. At my age, I don't have to, right? Don't have to. So I'm real careful about what I buy, what I purchase. So anyway, we'll try blackout coffee. I will let you know how it is on the next podcast. I should have it here in a day or two. So anyway, blackout coffee. If you guys drink blackout coffee, let me know what you think about it. So in closing, I guess, I got to do with this whole thing. So anyway, we're going to close right now because, gosh, guys, just 30 minutes went by pretty quick. Anyway, thanks again. If you're your first time stumbling onto my YouTube channel, you could check me out on Spotify and Facebook as well. I am on Rumble, but I haven't been on there for a while. Rumble, I love Rumble, but I'm still trying to figure out their platform on how to load the videos properly. Sometimes they'll load my videos, sometimes it won't. It's just kind of sketchy. But we'll see if we can get this up on Rumble. But anyway, you can find me on Spotify, Facebook, YouTube. Probably the best here. So if you first time stopping by, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Really do appreciate it. Been doing this for a while. It's just me here. I am going to have some guests on, and I always say that, but I am. I got Stephen Hubbard coming on here real soon. I wanted to have him on like today, but it just didn't. I've been so busy, it just didn't work out. Like, I get a second camera, but anyway, he'll be on. He's going to talk about music and all that stuff. Kudos to a YouTube subscriber that I subscribe to, or YouTube channel guy that I subscribe to, rather. Sean James up there in Canada. My Self-Reliance. I'll put a link to his show. His channel rather. He's a great guy. He's just got a good way about him. I follow some music guys and car guys. Maybe I'll share some of those links below if you guys got similar interests. But really, before I end here, I do thank everybody for stopping by and supporting. And if you're a like thinker like I am, like Chuck Norris said, he goes, I don't care. An interview with Chuck Norris. He said that I don't care, what side you're on or whatever. We may not agree on everything, but everybody, I give everybody a fair shake. And he goes, I believe in peace and no violence, and that's the way I am. You don't solve anything by that. And he goes, it's okay. It's okay to disagree. It's okay. It's okay for us to disagree on stuff, and it's okay to be friends. I'm friends with people that are liberals. I'm friends with people that are multiple conservatives. I'm friends with a lot of people, right? We may not, like I said, agree on anything, but we can agree to disagree. It's okay. We don't have to keep innocent kids out of class, guys, because you're pissed off about what's going on overseas. And again, before I end, to summarize my podcast today, we don't need to do that. And also, if you're an American and you hate America, you have an option to move. Please go move to North Korea or Russia if you think this place is so bad. You'll find out real quick it's not. Even Mexico. I mean, all these immigrants that are coming over, I don't blame them. I mean, if you're from, Venezuela or Mexico or Guatemala, whatever, you're trying to get a better life. I mean, it's not pleasant down there. The governments are terrible. I pray that our government does not get that way, because we're the last of the Mohicans, so to speak, guys. So I'm going to close with that. Really just think about what you're doing out there. Violence is not the answer, people. I'm just saying, violence is not the answer. Look at Chuck Norris. Look at how he handles stuff in his shows and his philosophies and stuff. 84 years old. Guy is wise, wisdom. He's done a lot of good things for kids and a lot of people. I'm glad I revisited Chuck Norris. And Chuck Norris, have you ever discovered my podcast? I'd love to meet you someday, just to say hello and have you sign a piece of paper or something. I took martial arts for a while. I'm thinking about actually revisiting it now that I'm feeling pretty good. But I took Ishan Ryu for several years, and I may pick that back up again. But anyway, in closing, thank you, Chuck Norris, for being who you are. Appreciate it. Guys, don't be violent. If you're listening, I mean, I'm only one voice. Please rethink everything. Even if someone's paying you some big bucks to create chaos, think about it. There's other ways of doing it. The man upstairs is watching. That's all I got to say. Till next time, I'll catch you. This is Johnny Allen. Thanks for stopping in. You have discovered, through the expansion of the internet world, I am Johnny Allen, and this is the Johnny Allen 30-Minute Podcast.